Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome. Sorry, I was screwing with Steph, listening to other information. So Grindavik, the Icelandic volcano, has erupted. Just gonna do a short show before the regular show because I think it's kind of neat to see these kind of eruptions. Yeah, not a ton about it so far. Looking at different streams and different lives, it looks like it, but I haven't seen any damage or anything like that. Some news reports breaking. Volcanoes erupted near the north of town, Grindavík, after months of powerful earthquake swarms. So we've seen all kinds of those earthquake swarms in that area. After months of powerful earthquakes shaking the country's southwestern Reykjanes peninsula, a volcano just started to erupt, unleashing large amounts of lava flows near the village of Grindavik. The village, housing around 4,000 people, has been evacuated. Officials are closely monitoring the Blue Lagoon along with other geothermal plant near Grindavik, which serves as the primary producer of electricity and water to its nearly 30,000 residents. Shit. Wrong one. So this is a video taken courtesy of Raw Alerts. So it looks like it was a pretty intense eruption. I think all the videos are pretty much the same right now. We'll watch this one from. So I have the other stream open, so I keep sharing to the wrong one. But, here's from a helicopter looking at the fissure, the break open. I think they're so neat. They're just fiery hellscape. They're pretty insane, to be honest. So there's another video by Citizen Free Press, and it's of the, so you can see the actual volcano exploding there in the distance. I mean, that looks like an intense volcano for sure. Just all that energy, all that energy dump is always incredible to see. Just so much energy, so much hot material coming out. I actually don't know where Grindavik, Iceland is, to be honest. I'm trying to look for it. But, I mean, that's just insane. So I'll go back to the live feed just so we have something to look at while I'm taking a peek here. Because I have a map up. There's just a lot of hotspots in different areas in the map, so I'm trying to figure it out. But so this is a live look. Not that I'm aware of, but I'm certain that there will be. Salingafell. Far. I mean, it's not that big of a country. I should be able to find it. And again, this is not uncommon. We knew this was coming. For sure, we knew this was coming. See, they don't have the same names. Salingafell. And I don't speak the language, so I have no idea what the hell's going on here. Location of 4 volcanoes, blah, blah, blah. So it looks like it's on that. Grindavik. Oh, there it is. Ha! Found it. Okay, so we'll pull this over here. Actually, if I back out of this one, then I can get back in. Let's be smart, Meaty. Let's be smart. There we go. So this is the area that we're talking about right down here. So this is a volcano, the specific volcano we're talking about. I haven't heard anything regarding any flight disruptions. I haven't heard anything. The town itself is evacuated, so it seems that at least for now, everybody's safe in the vicinity. Like I said, we've been kind of looking at this for months, and there's been considerable amounts of earthquakes going on for months and months. Lava fountains reaching up to 330 feet. So there's delayed flights on the ground right now. There's reports of delayed flights coming in right now. It's estimated to be about 3 kilometers long. And it follows an older, saying it follows potentially an older line. So this is where we're seeing this kind of break up here. To the northwest is the international airport. Okay. So yeah, so this is the area that we're looking at in this general vicinity into here, and this is what I mean. It looks like an absolute hellscape, but they usually do. That's a lot of pressure, a lot of energy, a lot of stuff escaping all at one time. So, I mean, it's impressive. It's impressive that the power of these things have, and there's really no way to stop it. So you just kind of let it go. So apparently they had about a 2-hour evacuation window. So that's always fun that you only get 2 hours to evacuate your home. There also, for the record and for what it's worth, there's a large increase in solar activity. Obviously, we're getting hit by that solar storm that came a couple days ago. Not a geologist, don't know if that makes any difference in the world, but it seems like it might. Let's look at earthquakes in the area. After weeks of warning, Iceland volcano erupts in plumes of fire. Iceland's weather service had warned about a volcanic eruption was likely after thousands of earthquakes were recorded this month. Like we said, a volcano in southwestern Iceland began erupting Monday with lava fountains reaching up to 330 feet and the glow visible miles away from the center of the capital, Reykjavik. The location of fissure poses a risk to nearby Svartskeni geothermal power plant. I know they're I saw multiple reports that they're really watching that very closely. And the town of Grindavik, which was evacuated last month due to heightened seismic activity. We're looking at the worst case scenario. The eruption appears big and only about 2 kilometers from major infrastructure. From Thorvaldr Thordarson, a volcanologist in Iceland. So apparently it's there's some concern with how close it ended up being to infrastructure. There was a thought that it could potentially erupt off into the water. Apparently it didn't do that. Thousands of earthquakes have been detected in Iceland since late October, according to the Iceland Meteorological Office. Homes and roads being damaged, and again, we looked at all kinds of that stuff, all kinds of fissures breaking open, that kind of thing. The authorities declared a state of emergency and evacuated Grindavík, a town of more than 3,000 people near the volcano. More recently, the meteorological office warned of a significant likelihood of a volcanic eruption in coming days. In the past 2 years, there have been 3 eruptions on the Reykjanes Peninsula, Iceland's most populated corner and home to its capital. When Grindavik was evacuated on November 11th, the authorities said in a statement that the country was highly prepared for such events. So apparently they're not terribly concerned about this whole ordeal. The authorities raised the aviation alert to orange because of the volcanic eruption could pose risk to aircraft flying in North Atlantic if ash spewed into the sky. One of the most memorable eruptions in Iceland's recent past involved the Eyjafjallajökull volcano in 2010. While that eruption was relatively small and caused no fatalities, the impact was widespread because of the resulting ash cloud grounded much of Europe's air travel for more than a week. The Eyjafjallajökull volcano had been dormant for nearly 2 centuries before it sprang back to life more than 13 years ago. And then again, it's saying that they're not uncommon for Iceland, which has fewer than 400,000 residents, but about 130 volcanoes. Since the 19th century, not a decade has gone without one. Entirely random eruptions. Country straddles 2 tectonic plates, which themselves are divided by an undersea mountain chain that oozes molten hot rock or magma. The current seismic activity has not affected one of Iceland's best-known volcanoes, Katla, which some scientists worry is also due for an eruption. It's erupted 5 times since 1721 at intervals ranging from 34 to 78 years. And the last one was 105 years ago. So it's overdue. Which one? I didn't think there was one. But if there is, yeah, I'll do it. Riot launch, man, my launch, whatever. Yeah, I mean they're similar. Yeah, I mean this is crazy. So apparently there was a big earthquake swarm that happened about 2100 hours local time, and the eruption began at 22:17. So again, this is a live look at what's happening right now. And I'm trying to see if they've raised their flight level, but not removed any flights for now. But like I said, it's just happening. News is just breaking, so it may take a minute. So we're looking at, yeah, so if you look at an earthquake map, there's been a pretty good indication that there's been an increase in earthquakes on this peninsula. This star is right around where the volcano erupted. So we can see that there was a bunch of earthquakes that happened prior to the eruption, which again is pretty common. Yeah, and that's the common conception is between 2 and 3 kilometers, between 1 and 2 miles north of Grindavik. So they're going to be launching, or have launched in the last probably 15 minutes, a Coast Guard helicopter to confirm the exact location and size of the eruption from the meteorological office. And like we said, it's been shaken like crazy. They've had tens of thousands of earthquakes. So, and that's from the Icelandic Met Office. The eruption timing. So it says exactly an eruption started on the Reykjanes Peninsula. The eruption is located about 3 kilometers north of Grindavik. The eruption began at 22:17 following an earthquake swarm that started around 2100. That's word for word the release that they had. So closed nearby the Blue Lagoon geothermal spa. Residents have since been allowed to return home during the day. Well, not anymore. All right, here's some good numbers. Magma's flowing at a rate of 100 cubic meters per second currently. And the quake that triggered the eruption may have been a magnitude 4.2, according to the government of Iceland. So not huge. Super high plumes of magma. Not the total guess, but the highest plumes are probably 150 meters. Which means that lava is flowing very quickly from the crater. This may be as close to the worst case as imaginable, unfortunately. That's from a volcanologist from Iceland. Those don't even look like letters, so I can't pronounce his name, but West Coast supposed to get a big quake. And it's about 2 kilometers from the Svartskensky geothermal power plant. I know that's been a concern from the beginning. And we've been seeing pictures like this out of this area for quite some time. I put up a couple shorts and stuff it seemed to kind of be breaking up and kind of falling apart. And that's probably what this is more breakup and more magma pushing to the surface. So so it does seem that people got out safely. It does seem that uh, people were able to get their belongings and stuff like that out of the area. And it seems like they were on top of it for the most part. More information to be available soon. That was about 40 minutes ago, so I'm hoping that I'm on the actual website for the Icelandic Met office, and trying to get updates. The last one was that 2300 update, which I assume is about 40 minutes ago. So, and that's about the same thing. The 2217, a volcanic eruption began north of Grindavik on the Reykjanes Peninsula. The eruption is located close to Sun Nukigar, about 4 kilometers northeast of Grindavik, and it can be seen on nearby webcams. The eruption was preceded by an earthquake swarm that started at 2100. A Coast Guard helicopter will take off shortly to confirm the exact location and size of the eruption. More information soon. It does look pretty impressive. How's it going, buddy? Reykjanes. Okay. I'm very American. um, so some of the previous updates, there was an update 2 days ago. At this stage, it's too early to say if the magma accumulation at Svartsteini has stopped and the inflation is over. The rate of deformation has decreased somewhat in the recent days, but more data is needed to interpret the possible development of activity in Svartsteini. Scientists will continue to analyze data in the coming days. A new hazard map will be released on Wednesday, December 20th, which will reflect the interpretation of the latest data. And obviously, we didn't even get that far before it erupted. And this is obviously not in English, but I think this is kind of where their concern ended up being. And in this zone is where it happened. So they were pretty much dead on. If I assume that an orange darker than a yellow would be a bigger cause for concern, but again, it truly seems like everybody kind of got out of the area and everything was as good as it could have been. So they had a bunch of Tuesday 12/19. So it would be, yeah, because it's probably 4 hours ahead of me. So it looks like they had a ton of seismic activity in the last little bit here. These are all earthquakes in that general vicinity, that 3 kilometers northeast or northeast of Grindavik. So all these are kind of in that general vicinity, and none of them are big, but definitely the ground shaking a little bit. So, and like I said, there is a massive solar storm that is hitting us. It's causing some power outages on our east coast here in the States. 3.5 kilometers. So we're seeing a lot of ground shaking for sure. So, and these are all Mondays, so these are all within the last 12, 24 hours. Yeah, 22. So these are all post. And then if we go back to 20, it actually kind of quieted down. So, and then blue, because this should be around the time that we saw it. Apparently, yeah. Apparently, it's a formerly active one. So it's been kind of quiet. So 0.9. Yeah, but I mean, relatively surprising. I wasn't counting on it because we hadn't heard anything. Like it had kind of went quiet for the most part. I was trying to kind of hope for one more update from Iceland, but it doesn't look like that's coming anytime soon. But we'll look for one more. So the current aircraft monitor warning: volcano is exhibiting heightened unrest and increased likelihood of eruption or volcanic eruption is underway with little or no minor ash emission. So right outside of Reykjavik, the only advisory we have currently is an orange advisory. Red is concerns of ash, which would interrupt air travel. So as far as the map, and this is our map currently, we just have this one little orange square here, and the rest of it is still green for the most part. So yeah, I don't know that we're going to get another update for now. Trying to look one more time just to make sure. But yeah, I had been monitoring it, and then it seemed like everything had calmed down for the most part. So blah blah blah. But it does. It looks incredibly incredibly crazy. Like, and this is what we had been seeing for nearly a month. We saw broken infrastructure. We saw these big fissures or cracks in town. Several images or videos like this, and then it kind of just calmed down, and you can see the magma's all running down. So here's your break in the Earth's crust, and all your magma's running this way. Looking for one more update, and then I'm gonna. That's true. Yeah. So mid-November was when they actually evacuated town. And they've been allowing people to come back during the day at specific times. Which probably saved lives, because if there's nobody there, then obviously that's a better situation. So this is kind of a, you can see the river of lava flying out. This is obviously from a local news channel or something like that, but you can see the pouring out. So, and that's a lot of area. It truly is. It's a lot of area. So we'll go back over here, let you guys watch that while I'm continuing to look for new information. And again, about 3 to 4 kilometers in length. So, I mean, just estimating, I would say 1 to 1.5 kilometers wide. So, I mean, that's quite a bit of magma coming out. And again, it truly seems like so they're saying this is good news. I don't know seismologically about the area, but they're saying that this is good news. This is the fissure that broke open right here. And it's a formerly active fissure. And I would assume, just based on what I've read and looked at, your elevation, you're going to be coming down this way to the ocean. So hopefully you wouldn't get lava flows down to town. And I think that's what they're really hoping for. I think this is where that geothermal plant is that they're concerned with. I mean, certainly could flow this way. This is 100% speculation on my part, just by looking at quick maps and elevations. And that seems to line up with what's going on the ground and what we've kind of heard. But it is an intense volcano. So, and I think Jason, I believe, asked what's the there's a natural progression for this. Like there's going to be other relief areas. So does that end up being California? Does that end up being somewhere else? So who knows? I sure as hell don't. It's above my pay grade. I just report on things. You guys figure it out. Wow. So I assume these are always the scariest ones because you take into the human account and you take in actual humans that are sitting there. They're hot. They're hot and crazy. Yeah. Yeah. These are always the ones that are terrifying because they're actual people that live or trying to get away from the area, and obviously that it looks like hell. Like it looks like hell on Earth. So, and they're beautiful, and I mean it's fun to see from afar sitting at a computer screen, but you have to think that there is a human cost to it, and there's a potential that humans could be harmed in some way. So, because of it. Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to release anything in the time that I'm going to be here. Because I'm not seeing any updates. So this allegedly is from the Iceland airport. And as we can see, the volcano's in the left of screen right here. And they say this is about 30 miles away. So just to give you some idea of scale, from 30 miles away, you can see not only the magma on the ground, but you can also see the plume. And this is allegedly a live camera from the Reykjavik airport. So pretty intense. Pretty intense. Sorry, just scrolling. See if we have any updated information. I'll have a live stream. Let's see what this one does. So this guy obviously does it a hell of a lot better than I do, but has quake locations, kind of that affected line, updates on quakes. So here's an update on the current quakes happening in the last hour, and then here's that same line. I assume this is just ash. So But all right. So I'll keep my eye on it. If anything breaks with it, that's super interesting. Or yeah, probably. Yeah, yeah. Yellowstone would be absolutely devastating towards a lot of people, but I certainly wanted to. I certainly wanted to jump in and at least bring it up and let everybody know about it since it's breaking right now. Wish for the best. Iceland seems to think that they have it under control, and although it's as one of the geologists said, the worst case scenario, they seem to have a pretty good handle on things. So we just hope for the best. Hope that it doesn't engulf their town and makes its way uh, out to the ocean without destroying too much. So this is from the Coast Guard. This just came in, and it's parallel to that ancient fissure. So the ancient crack is this ridge, and it looks like it's offset to that ancient fissure. So again, more evidence that hopefully it will just roll down that hill and not go in this direction and affect the town. So yeah, that's what I heard. Yep. Wow. Yep. Yeah, the ground definitely moves. So but yeah, so that's gonna be it for me right now, ladies and gentlemen. I hope for the best for the people of Iceland, and hopefully it doesn't do much infrastructure damage and doesn't hit that plant. Uh, but we'll do what we can to keep an eye on it and see what happens from here. But until then, if anything breaks or if anything happens that is threatening to life or that specific area, I will certainly get back on and let you know. Until then, I'm gonna go prep for our Matthew Moore trial stream today. An earthquake in China, yeah, and that's unfortunately there's gonna be other relief points throughout the world, and that's the concern. So they never happen in a vacuum. They tend to happen in sets almost. So so we're hoping for the best, hoping that there's the least amount of impact to surrounding people. So, but like I said, I gotta go prep for the more stream at 8:30. Until then, I hope everybody has an awesome day. And despite the shit news, and if anything happens, I will certainly let you know. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one, guys.